One warm afternoon in July, Gene Bear Moe was hiking alone in Alaska's wilderness, a rugged landscape he knew better than most. He was experienced, cautious, and respected the wild. But on this day, the forest's most feared predator would change his life forever. Gene Moe, nicknamed Bear, was a 70-year-old hunting guide and seasoned outdoorsman. He had spent decades navigating the unforgiving terrain of Kodiak Island, Alaska. A retired construction worker and lifelong hunter, Gene wasn't someone who spooked easily. He had seen moose, wolves, black bears, even grizzlies. But nothing prepared him for what happened that October morning in 1999. It began like any other hunt. Gene was looking for Sika black-tailed deer near Kodiak Bay, scanning the brush with careful steps. The crisp Alaskan air carried the scent of moss and pine, and the silence was broken only by the occasional call of birds. Then the silence shattered. Out of the trees charged a massive Kodiak brown bear, estimated at 750 pounds. It was sudden, fast, and brutal. Gene had no time to reach for his rifle. The bear closed the distance in seconds, knocking him to the ground with a thunderous swipe of its paw. He landed hard on his back as the bear lunged, teeth and claws tearing into his body. The bear bit into Gene's leg, breaking bones and ripping muscle. Then it moved to his chest, tearing at his torso, cracking ribs. One of Gene's eyes swelled shut from the impact. His right arm was gashed deeply. Blood soaked the ground around him. But Gene fought back. Even at 70, he wasn't ready to die. Reaching for his knife, his only remaining weapon, Gene plunged it into the bear's neck. Again. And again. The bear shrieked and thrashed, slamming Gene into the dirt. But Gene didn't stop. He stabbed it in the throat, under the chin, around the eyes. Anywhere he could reach. The bear collapsed on top of him, suffocating him with its weight. He kept stabbing. Its blood mixed with his. After several minutes that felt like hours, the bear rolled off, dead. Gene lay there, in agony, nearly unconscious. But survival kicked in. He dragged himself over to a small pool of water to wash his wounds. He tied a crude tourniquet with his belt. He then crawled and limped for 2 miles back to his camp, alone, in freezing temperatures, leaving a trail of blood behind him. From camp, he used his radio to call for help. It took rescuers hours to reach him. When they found him, they said it was a miracle he was alive. His leg was nearly shredded. His chest and arms were ripped open. But he was breathing. Gene was airlifted to Providence, Alaska Medical Center, where he underwent multiple surgeries. Doctors reconstructed his leg, patched up his ribs, and treated the deep claw and bite wounds all over his body. He spent months in rehabilitation. And yet, he recovered. Within a year, Gene was back in the Alaskan wilderness. He continued to hunt, fish, and hike well into his 80s. He kept the knife that saved his life. He even wrote a book, The Spirit of Alaska, where he detailed his bear encounter and what it taught him. He didn't fear bears. He respected them. Kodiak bears are among the largest bears on Earth. They can weigh over 1,500 pounds, stand 10 feet tall on their hind legs, and run faster than a horse. They don't usually attack humans, but if surprised or defending a kill, they can be devastating. Gene believed this bear was protecting a carcass it had buried nearby. In its mind, Gene was a threat. Gene's story became legend among hunters and wilderness guides. He wasn't just a man who survived a bear attack. He was a man who beat the odds, who stared death in the eyes, and chose to live. His experience became a teaching tool for how to stay calm under unimaginable pressure. In interviews, Gene never glorified the violence. He didn't brag about killing the bear. He always emphasized the importance of preparation, awareness, and respect. He often said, "The bear did what bears do. I just did what I had to." To this day, Wilderness experts point to Gene Moe as an example of mental toughness. His story has been featured in books, documentaries, and podcasts. Yet many people still don't know it. And maybe now, more people will. Because Gene's survival isn't just about brute strength, it's about grit, instinct, and the will to keep going when every bone in your body is telling you to stop. It's about refusing to give up, even when the odds are impossible. His story isn't just a tale of man versus nature. It's a lesson in resilience. And a reminder that sometimes, the fight to survive is what makes us most human. If you found this story gripping, intense, or inspiring, hit that like button to help it reach more people. Leave a comment below. Would you have had the strength to fight back like Gene did? Or would you have frozen? And if you want more true stories that push the limits of reality, be sure to subscribe to Lore of the Multiverse. We post weekly stories of survival, mystery, and the strange but true. Thanks for watching, and remember, always respect the wild.